What's up guys, Brad here, down here in the Keys with Rygo and Kristen this week, filming some new content for you guys. And today I'm going to talk a little bit about when to do a front-handed down loop on a jump and when to choose a backhanded heli loop instead. So there are a few factors that can come into play when deciding which hand to pull for initiating a down loop or a heli loop landing. One of the biggest factors I've found is how high you're going. So typically on higher jumps where you have an excess of time, I'll tend to steer my kite forward to gain more horizontal movement and travel further during the jump, but it also adds more loft at the peak, which can be really useful for grabs, board offs, one-footers, all types of variations, or even in one video we recorded, it can be used to initiate rotations like a late back roll. From there, your kite will be forward though, so pulling the front hand really isn't going to be a helpful decision since you've kind of lost all the energy you can gain from that side. So now you need to steer the kite back to create lift for your landing. So on a bigger jump where you have extra time, steer the kite forward, land it with a heli loop, you get to travel further downwind, it looks really cool, and you get more airtime. However, every jump isn't always a super high jump, especially on days that might not be as windy, or say if you're riding a 12-meter kite, on like a 15 to 20 mile an hour day, it just doesn't really present itself as an option. So the front-handed heli loop can come into play since it still provides more loft than just sending your kite downwards, and it gives you an option on those lighter wind days. So a front-handed down loop will come into play on days where it's not quite as windy and your jumps aren't going quite as high. A lot of these can also depend on just where your kite ends up as well, but I'll talk a little bit more about that at the end. But a front-handed down loop provides more lift than traditionally sending your kite forward, and it also allows you to land riding a different direction as well. So it offers more flexibility for landing and you get additional lift. The kind of criteria on which one you'll initiate can also depend on where your kite is. So on a normal jump where you jump, send your kite back a little bit, and now it's on the opposite side of 12, a front-handed kite loop would work really well because the kite can now cross around 12 o'clock and provide upward lift. Whereas in this position, if you were to bring it the other way, the kite would not have much lift remaining and you would likely land fairly hard and without much of a catch. Whether you're pulling the kite to your front side or your back side though, one thing that's very important with heli loops and down loops alike is that you allow the kite time to ascend and get more so behind you a little bit, or at least directly above you. If you initiate these loops too early into a jump, you're going to start kind of crossing the boundaries over into more of like a mega loop style loop, where it's going to loop in front of you and create more of a horizontal pull, which can be really fun, but only when it's intended. So if you're trying to soften your landings, be patient, let the kite ascend above you, preferably to one side of you, not directly above. That way, if the kite ends up on one side, you can loop it around to the other, and that will create nice lift. Likewise, if you jump, steer the kite forward, you can then steer it back the other way to create lift the other way. So I hope these tips will help give you guys a little bit better idea on how to refine your heli loops and get softer landings. So if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and be sure to get subscribed so you don't miss out on any future videos.